Good morning, this is your Cherry Peak Ski Report for Saturday, March 16th, 2024. We have a mid-mountain base depth of 44 inches with no new snow in the past 24 hours. Roads to the mountain are bare and dry, and the skies are mostly clear. Today's operational hours are 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. day skiing and 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for night skiing. We'll be operating Gateway Triple Chairlift, and Vista Triple Chairlift will also be operating the Summit. The Magic Carpet will be turning also. Tubing is closed for the season. Be sure to get your annual passes now. Yes, it is underway. The most affordable place to learn how to ski and board. Annual passes start for an individual as little as $219. Over 30 reciprocal resorts to involve with a free ski pass. Yes, that's right. Many ski passes free across the country. Go to skicpr.com for any further information and details. We'll catch you at the peak.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
Just looking to the south as we were beginning the show this morning and talking about this is why we survived all of those cold winter days.
All the snow last week.
Yeah, it's for mornings like this. Just a gorgeous day, and we've got so much to talk about this morning. Welcome to the Garden Show on this beautiful Saturday morning. Will Feel Right along with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden, and yeah, it's going to be a busy day.
I can look out the window here, and I can see the sun just starting to hit the top of the mountains here by Logan Peak, and yeah, it's nice.
And you can see all the way down to Paradise to the south of us and the sun bathing the Wellsvilles. It's one of the reasons why we love waking up so early when we're in radio and we have a beautiful view like this.
Yep.
So
not too bad, not too bad. Well, I checked my garden the other day. A couple more days of nice weather like this, and I'll be able to till and plant.
Yeah, if it hadn't have been for all the moisture we had this week, today you could do
it. We could be out there. So today's the day to prep, to be ready, because next week soil should be perfect for planting. So great time to get your onions, great time to get some early seeds, spinach, lettuce, radishes, onions, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts. Those could all go in with the cold weather. Mm-hmm. No problems. Even if we get some snow, even if we get some more frost, they'll handle it. Just it's not a problem for those early crops. So good time to get out there. Bare root sale going on at Anderson's right now. So we've got our first batch of fruit trees in. So we've got a great selection of fruit trees. We can talk about maybe some of my favorite varieties that are here. And so we can talk about that a little bit today. And there are some varieties that are hardier for our area that will do really well. We got some flowering trees in this week, and we just barely got those unloaded, so we haven't got them prepped to sell. They've got they kind of tie up the branches so they don't get damaged while they're in shipment. So we haven't even had a chance to go out there and cut.
So they're all wrapped.
They're all wrapped
still.
up. Yeah, it's like it was so busy yesterday we couldn't get out there and do it. But then all the bare root small fruits came in. So we've got strawberries came in, blackberries came in, a few varieties of raspberries, not a lot. We got some black raspberries, we got some blackberries, we got some blueberries. We got some currants and some gooseberries, and these are all available bare root, so you can get them bare root, and it's a lot less expensive that way. Usually ends up saving you about 20 to 25% off of a regular potted established container plant. So really great prices on all those small fruits that are in. So yeah, strawberries are looking really good. Blackberries are the nicest I've seen for years. Like they look really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah, they look really, really
Very
good. So I'm pleased with that. They look great. Fruit trees look really good. They're just ready to be planted. And of course, today at 1:00 we are doing a bare root planting seminar. And so at Anderson's at 1:00 we're doing a little class, and it's all about how to handle and prepare and to plant your bare root plants. And we'll be going over that today at 1:00 in our classroom at Anderson Seed. So a little class going on today. Bare root sale going on. We did get onion plants in, but I'll tell you what, there were so many people in the store yesterday. We burned through about half of them yesterday, possibly even more. And the great thing about the onions is we've got a shipment coming every week. So we have a shipment coming every week. So if you miss out on the onions, you just can't get in this weekend. I'll have more coming on probably Thursday of next week. They better come on Thursday next week. That's all I can say.
Gonna run out.
Yeah, they better come. But that way they're fresh. It's like if we bring in too many and they sit around for a week because the weather's not very good.
Dry out.
Yeah, they dry out. They don't look really good. But the onion sets did come in. So I've got yellow Spanish, white Spanish, and red Southport on the onions. So those are in stock and ready to go as well too. So a lot of fun things happening at Anderson's. It's like it feels like spring in the greenhouses. Yeah. We've got pansies and primrose that look great. They're in bloom. Those could be planted right now, so they can handle the cold as well too. And we've got some early vegetables. So we've got some pea starts, and we've got some cabbage and cauliflower, broccoli starts, and probably some kale out there as well too. So we're getting there.
We're getting there, yeah.
Helleborus came in, so those are gorgeous, and those can handle the cold as well, too. They're in full bloom right now. So those are semi-evergreen plants, but they're not really evergreens. Their foliage are really colorful. So we've got some dark greens and some burgundies and a lot of different colors on those. So those are really fun to plant right now as well too, because they can handle and tolerate the cold. They'll bloom for like another month, so you can enjoy the flowers while they're blooming. And then since they are perennial, they'll be back again next year as soon as the snow melts to bloom like crazy. So gorgeous plants. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Plus, also, if you haven't had a chance to get out and prune your fruit trees, I was out checking ours, and they are budding like crazy.
Yeah. Drove through Brigham City a couple times this week, and they've got a lot of their trees are all pruned and ready to go. They're getting ready to go. But us, snow just is melting, has just barely melted. Mm-hmm. Depends on which part of the valley you're in. I know some people still have snow, but we're down here on the island in Logan, and our snow's gone. Yeah, our snow is gone.
And as I look out towards Menden, yeah, I know there's still snow out that way, and it's coming, Menden. It's coming.
Yeah, it won't be long. So great day to come into Anderson's and see what we've got. We've got some great bare root plants. Seed line has not been busy. It's not been terrible, but it's been consistent. So there's been somebody at the seed counter like all day, almost every day for the last week, because people are starting to get excited about it. Yeah, getting excited.
One of the things that you guys did, I think you started it last year, where you can order your seeds ahead online and then come and pick it up.
Yeah, we've been doing it for quite a few years. Yeah, actually before the pandemic, we had that available. But even better, like we're much faster at getting things set up. So if you put an order in, usually by 24 to 48 hours, we'll have it packaged and prepped and ready for pickup for you. So we have a lot of customers from outside of the valley that are doing their orders online. Say they're coming up to visit family, and it's just like ready to go when they come to pick it up.
Just come pick it up.
Yeah, and that works out really well. Of course, there's a lot of customers that love to come in and stand in line and talk with the other gardeners, and then hear about the new varieties that we've got, and and we can make suggestions and help with other problems as well too. So you have multiple options of how to do it. So you can come to the seed counter. We'll go old-fashioned way and just weigh it up in front of you. But you can absolutely go onto our website, and all the varieties are there, multiple sizes of different quantities. If you want just enough for 10 feet of carrots, or if you want a 50-foot row of carrots, we can get you any amount that you want, whether it's online or in the store.
Okay,
works great.
Okay,
yeah, it really does.
Plus, also, we want to open up the phone lines and take some calls this morning, but we're going to do something a little bit different. We've got the Home and Garden Show coming up next weekend.
Next weekend already.
Sponsored by Anderson Seed and Garden, and we're going to be talking about that show, and we're going to be broadcasting from that show next week. And so to get us prepped for the show, we're going to give away a pair of tickets to everyone that calls today. So what I'll do is I'll take those calls and grab those names, and then what we'll do, Mark's going to take those tickets with him to Anderson Seed and Garden, and you can just, over the next week, you can go by and pick up your tickets. And if you want to pick them up today, you can do that.
I'll have them.
Whereas our offices, of course, here at the KVNU studios are closed on Saturday. So as you call in, we'll get your first and last name. We'll put a pair of tickets aside for you. You can stop by Anderson Seed and Garden next week and pick up those tickets.
Or today, I'll have them in me little pot of gold.
Yes, yes. Just look for Mark, and maybe not you don't have to even look for the rainbow. You won't even be wearing green. But he does have the tickets.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
Yeah, you can call in with your question, and I'll just get your name so that we can set aside a pair of tickets for you, because we want you to join us next weekend for the Home and Garden Show. It'll be happening all day Friday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then again on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. out at the Eccles
It's going to be so much fun. We've got lots of things planned, and we'll have a bunch of flowers and things to show off, and we should have some information about the Giant Pumpkin Festival as well, too. So, a lot of fun things going.
And it's a sold-out show. We were talking with our sales staff earlier. They have sold every booth, every table, every free space that they can find on that ice sheet. Is going to be all things garden, all things home improvement, everything for your home and garden. It's always a lot of fun. So,
great.
You can call in, and we'll take your name and set aside a pair of tickets for you, and then you can have your question answered here with Mark. So, as we get to the phone lines, maybe the first thing we could talk about is your favorite bare root.
Yes.
trees.
Since bare root sale has started, we've got some really great varieties, some different things that maybe you've never thought about. So this week I've had multiple customers come in and asking me, I want to do a nectarine. What's your favorite nectarine? And surprisingly, my very favorite nectarine is actually a white nectarine, and it is called Arctic J. And Arctic J comes from Canada, and it is extra hardy. In fact, we've got one planted at our house, and it has handled the winters the last 3 years exceptionally well. Of course, the winter was really mild this year, but it was not mild last year. And it came through very, very well last year. In fact, it produced blossoms last year, unlike a lot of other stone fruits last year. But the Arctic J is a white nectarine, and it's probably the sweetest, yet the most tart nectarine that's out there. It's got just amazing flavor, so that's one of my favorites. I also have a white apricot. It's called a Blenheim. It's a white Blenheim, and it also comes from Canada. Exceptionally hardy for our area, and really, really amazing fruit. So those are two excellent varieties if you wanted to try something new. We also have some white peaches that are just outstanding flavor. I'd have to say probably one of my favorite peaches. I've got a Blazing Star at home, and Blazing Star's not in yet, but it'll be in probably maybe the end of next week or the week after. So I've got some more of the Star series of peaches coming. So we've got a lot of more varieties arriving than what we've got in stock right now. But for right now, I think we've got Snow Beauty is a beautiful white peach that's delicious. But my favorite, that Blushing Star, is amazing, and Harkin. Harkin is another variety from Canada, and exceptionally hardy for peaches, especially if you're in the middle part of the valley where it's definitely colder. You won't be able to grow in some areas of the valley. Some of those Zone 5 peaches tend to get damaged throughout the wintertime, but Harkin is a Zone 4, and so is Blushing Star, and so is that Arctic J nectarine. So they're true Zone 4s, and they will do very, very well in our area. Have some really unique fruits as well, too. So we've got some pluots. So it's a combination of a plum and an apricot. And those have been really popular the last couple of years. We've got Dapple Dandy and Flavor King. I think we've got both of those varieties in. I've got Plueri, which is a plum cherry cross, and so that's got a really great, unique flavor as well too. So some very interesting, different fruits at Anderson's right now during our bare root sale that just arrived this week. So we're excited to have some plants to plant, and it looks like our weather's going to be very cooperative this coming week, so we can actually get out there and do some planting. But if you're concerned about planting bare root and you've struggled, you've had a hard time, whether it's a bare root raspberries or bare root strawberries or bare root fruit tree, we have a seminar today at 1 o'clock at Anderson's, and we do have quite a few people signed up, but I know there's probably at least 10 or 15 seats still available for that class. If you'd like to learn how to properly and successfully plant bare root, we're going to be going through all of those steps and techniques and tricks to be more successful when you're planting bare root plants. So we'll be doing that seminar at 1 o'clock today at Anderson Seed and Garden. So
all right.
Lots of fun. There are more varieties to talk about, but it looks like we kind of have a lot of phone calls.
Got a few calls to get to. So let's first go out to College Word. We have Lori joining us on the line. Lori, welcome to the show this morning.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. I have a couple of questions. First of all, we have asparagus plants, and they have reseeded all over in our garden, and I wondered when and how we can transplant those safely that they survive. And even like I don't even know if we can transplant our other original plants. Anyway, that's my first question.
Okay. Some of those young little sprouts that have come up, they won't have too extensive of a root system if they've come up from seed. So now is actually the best time to do it. If you can tell where they're at, if you had like a little bit of a fern come off of those last fall, you could trim that down, dig the root system up, and try and dig as large a clump as possible and move that to your preferred location for those. It's great that they're dropping a lot of seed and reproducing, but sometimes they do come up in spots where you don't want them.
Yes.
Yeah. My dad always said, doesn't matter what plant it is, if it's in the wrong spot, it's a weed. So.
Yeah.
But.
Okay. So what about mature plants? Can you transplant those, or are they where they are?
It's better if you don't, because the more established they become, the more productive they will be. And so the cool thing about asparagus, but it's also a drawback as well too, is it takes 5 to 7 years for them to really get established and really start producing. And it's usually years 7 through 15 that they are the most productive. So you get about almost a decade of really great production out of them, and then they start to decline after that. And so usually you want to kind of get them in the spot where you want them, leave them alone for about 2 decades. So 20 years, leave them where they're at, and then get rid of them and plant new ones in a different location. So,
okay.
So you can move them, absolutely, but they're better if you don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I plant them a certain depth? The new ones?
So the new ones, I would plant them so that the crowns, right where the sprouts come out, so right where those crowns are at, get the crowns about 6 to 8 inches below the surface.
Okay.
Yeah, you want them fairly deep, and the reason we want them deep is then they're more stable as those spears come up, but the soil stays moist and cool longer during the hot, dry summers. If they're up on the surface, they can dry out really fast. So we want them down about 6 to 8 inches. It's like perfect for those guys.
Okay.
All right.
My second question is on dormant spray, and
yeah.
You can't. Am I correct in thinking that you can put for fire blight, that spray in with it at the same time?
You sure can.
And how much?
Yeah, you sure can. So for fire blight, you can add in to your dormant oil. You can add either like a copper fungicide, so like a basic copper. So the copper actually works on fire blight that is left over on the tree, and so that would work great. The garden foss works excellent, and so you could do the garden foss. And as far as I've been told, the fungicide 5 or complete disease control both of those biofungicides will work on fire blight as well too. So you could just mix that right in with your dormant spray and go ahead and spray that right now. You'll definitely want to spray while the tree's in bloom, because that's when they're most susceptible to picking up the fire blight. And we've got some different options for that. But for right now with the dormant spray, those would be great to mix in. And they'll work on other diseases as well, too. So they'll work on shot hole fungus and coronium blight and peach leaf curl and powdery mildews. And it'll help when you do that dormant oil. It's really, really helpful to get a fungicide in with it as well, too. It can take care of diseases and insects at the same time.
Okay, so I've never put a sticker spray or whatever you call it in with it when I spray it. Is that necessary or not?
Where the dormant spray is an oil base, you don't need a surfactant with it, so you don't need a spreader sticker with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
Okay.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and the weather's perfect this week for it. 50-degree daytime temperatures. It just doesn't get any better. Do your pruning first, and then get your dormant spray and your fungicide on, and away we go.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for calling this morning, Lori. You have a great weekend.
Okay, and that'll free up a phone line to 753-5868, as we've got them all full for you, Mark. So we're going to go right back out to the phones. Neil is joining us on the line from North Logan. Welcome to the show, Neil.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for taking my call. I have it's pretty old, Yellow Delicious apple tree, and we've done some pruning over the years, but the last few, it's just kind of gotten out of control. And
yes,
the question I have is, as far as pruning it back, got two huge branches, like right at the base of it. They're only about, a foot to 2 feet off the ground. And if we take those off, that's like about half the tree. And the question is, can we do that? Should we do that? Or how do we approach those two branches as far as pruning in the grand scheme of that tree?
That sounds kind of low for branches. So it makes it hard to work in around the tree when you got branches that low. I would assume that it has some branching starting up higher as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would probably take at least one of those branches off this year, if not both. If you felt like it was going to really stress the tree, you could do one this year and then one next year. But taking those larger branches off, say taking 25% of the tree off, it's the root system has grown big enough to sustain all that tree. So if you take 25% off, it's going to put growth somewhere else. And so it's amazing how pruning some of those big branches out will encourage a lot of really nice, new, lush growth in other locations. And so we've seen, trees get damaged with some snow and it breaks a big branch off and you feel terrible about it. You get it all cleaned up and you go, God, there's this big gap on the tree. It's going to take forever for that to fill in. And it seems like it's 2 years and the tree just puts new growth back out in there to replace what it's lost. So don't worry about that, but we really don't want branches that low. It makes it really, really kind of difficult. So I like on my apple trees, if you're going to go for like a modified central leader, so you don't have just like one main trunk going up, but you want like 3 main trunks. I usually start those about 4 or 5 feet off the ground. And so that's kind of where you want to look for those new branches. And you don't want to completely open the center up, but you want to open it up a little bit. And the strongest branches coming off of those leaders are going to be 45-degree angles. So you want to encourage a lot of nice 45-degree angles because those are the angles of the branches that are the strongest. And then more lateral branches coming off of those really strong 45-degree main scaffold branches, the laterals can be more horizontal, and that's where a lot of your fruit production is on apples and pears. And so I'd start training that tree by taking those lower branches off, pick the ones that are up higher where you can start to really train the tree, and then we're going to encourage a lot of lateral growth off of that where all your fruit production is going to be.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. So good luck with your tree, Neil, and
all right.
Hope you get lots of fruit this year. You're welcome.
All right, and let's go right back out to the phone lines. We have Gordon on the line from Newton. Gordon, welcome to the show.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing?
Doing great, Gordon. How about you?
I'm great. It's been nice to get out and actually be able to work in the yard without being snowed or rained on for the last couple of days.
So it was a little chilly yesterday with the wind blowing, but I'll tell you what, in the greenhouse at the store, it felt like spring.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, with all the wind everybody else got, Newton was kind of sheltered. We didn't get very much. So.
Well, you've been doing something right.
We're spoiled. Yeah. Well, it's always good to talk to you, Mark. You're the harbinger of spring, so it's always good to hear you back on the air.
Great. Thanks, Gordon.
Last fall, we reran our water line from the house out to our water meter out by the street. And, of course, in doing so with the big trench, when they put the dirt all back in, we have ended up with a big layer of gooey clay up on the top.
Yes.
And I came in, and when I was in the other day, I bought a bag of humates, and I've sprinkled it heavily. Is there anything else that I can do besides putting some humates on that to kind of help get I just thought about maybe getting some other soil and just mixing it in, or maybe putting sand on with it or something like that.
Yeah. Sand and clay turns into concrete, so you got to be a little careful with that.
I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, zeolite would be excellent because you can rake that in right now, and then it's gonna hold moisture like crazy, but it'll keep your clay from clumping up as much as well too. And then depending on how much area you've got, our Garden Max soil conditioner is amazing for clay soils. It will really help break that clay up and get some organic matter in there to keep the clay from clumping up. So depending on how large your trench is, the bags of Garden Max will do 30 square feet per bag. So you could do a 1 foot wide trench, 30 feet long with one bag. And that's probably the best product out there for conditioning clay as quickly as you can. And so that would be a great option as well too. Plus, it's got all the fertilizer in there, so it would help your new seed pop up like crazy, and it would blend in and get that grass established really, really fast if you did that. So
I have a pretty big area north of my house. The whole back area there is just you really can't hardly walk through there without getting 3 or 4 inches taller as you go. Your shoe.
I'm familiar with that kind of mud, so yeah.
So I'm thinking maybe the zeolite sounds like that and the gypsum that I threw down.
Yep, the zeolite and the gypsum would be great, and then any organic matter. If you've got like a little bit of topsoil, but topsoil with a compost in there, so topsoil plus raised bed mix, something with a little higher organic matter in there, and then just rake it in, work it in.
Okay.
All right.
And I got my humates sprinkled on my last few stubborn snow piles yesterday, so
nice.
Hopefully we'll get a final meltdown with that. It's amazing how much that speeds up the melt process, just a little light layer of humate on the top.
It really does. The black color generates heat. Then you've got the humic and the fulvic acids in there that just break that snow down like crazy. And right now I'm wishing I got my humate on like 2 weeks ago because my grass would be green.
Me
already.
Too.
Yeah. So
I don't want to be standing out in the snow to do it.
Yeah,
so.
maybe this weekend. Good weekend to put a little fertilizer on, and absolutely put your humate on. And you won't believe how quickly your lawn will green up, but it won't grow fast. So that humate will really kick it in, jumpstart it, but it won't make it grow too fast. And then we're shooting for after Easter to do pre-emergent. So want to wait a little bit on the pre-emergent.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, better let you go. You got lots of people waiting to talk to you. So.
Absolutely.
Hey, see ya.
Thanks for calling this morning, Gordon. Have a good one.
You betcha.
All right.
Okay, and that'll free up another phone line. We can take more of those calls. And again, coming up right after the news here at the bottom of the hour, we'll explain how all of our callers are getting a pair of tickets to the Home and Garden Show, sponsored by Anderson Seed and Garden. It's coming up next weekend at the Eccles Ice Arena. And whether you win tickets today, you can always just join us at the show coming up next weekend, as we'll be having all things fun.
Can't believe it's here already.
Yeah.
We
made it through winter, and it's a gorgeous day today to be able to get out and enjoy the sunshine. And we'll talk more bare roots, raspberries, blackberries. You mentioned some new plants coming in, new bare roots, and a great time to get out and plant. So Bottom of the hour break here is coming up, and we can take more of your calls, 753-5868 or 1-800-369-5868 for The Garden Show.
I'm Bill Walter, KVNU News. Country artist Ned Ledoux interrupted a national tour to perform Thursday night in Logan as the inaugural act of the annual Cache Valley Cowboy Rendezvous. Ledoux drew a sizable crowd to the Cache County Event Center, kicking off 3 days of festivities celebrating Utah's rich Western and farm ranch culture with music, poetry, art, dance, and education. The son of the late performing artist and rodeo champion Chris Ledoux, the young Ledoux clearly demonstrated why he is well respected for his high-energy shows featuring a blend of Western music with rock and roll influences. From the 10-gallon hat that frequently shadowed his face to his trademark dimples, Ledoux is the spitting image of his late father, and many audience members also commented on the striking similarity of their voices. While acknowledging that he stands in his father's shadow, Ned is proudly accustomed to having those big shoes to fill. He started as a drummer in his father's band Western Underground in 1998 and has never looked back once he got a taste of the freedom of the road. Cache Valley Cowboy Rendezvous continues through Sunday morning with Cowboy Church, the Cache County Event Center. No championship game in the Mountain West Conference Tournament for the Utah State Aggie men's basketball team. Aggies dropped the Friday night game to San Diego State 86-70. Some early lane changes, but San Diego State came on strong, especially in the second half. Utah State struggled to score, so now the Aggies will return to Logan and await their fate on Selection Sunday. Sunny skies during the day, clear at night, a little bit of wind, low 50s for the high Saturday, mid 50s on Sunday. For the latest news, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
From ABC Sports, I'm Mark Remillard. March Madness continues with big wins and upsets around the nation last night, starting with the Pac-12, Oregon over 6th-ranked Arizona.
Rebound tips to Couisnard. Oregon's gonna win it! The Ducks advance to the Pac-12 Tournament Championship!
Joey McMurray from Learfield on the call. The Ducks' huge second half fueled the 67-59 comeback win. They move on to face Colorado, who took down 22nd-ranked Washington State 58-52. In the SEC, a pair of upsets in Nashville. First up, 9th-ranked Kentucky falls.
How about the Fighting Texas Aggies win number 20 and on to the SEC Tournament semifinals. A&M 97, Kentucky 87.
The final call by Andrew Monaco from Learfield. Texas A&M improved their chances at reaching the big dance with their second upset of the tournament. They'll have to get past Florida, who later in the night took down 19th Alabama.
And the Gators, for the first time in 5 years, will play on into the weekend and make a semifinal appearance. They get Texas A&M tomorrow night. Been a good week to be golden, that's for sure.
As heard on the SEC Network, 102-88 Gators the final. Elsewhere, 7th Iowa State defeated 14th Baylor to reach the Big 12 final. They'll face top-ranked Houston, who cruised past Texas Tech. North Carolina over Pittsburgh, 72-65 in the ACC semis. And 10th-ranked Marquette beat Providence for the chance to face UConn in the Big East final. In the NBA, the Pelicans down the Clippers 112-104. The Nuggets over the Spurs 117-106. And the Suns stung the Hornets 107-96. While in the NHL, the Jets blanked the Ducks 6-zip. And the Kings shut out the Blackhawks 5-zip. I'm Mark Remillard, ABC Sports.
From gardening to landscaping, it's The Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
And welcome back to the show as we're enjoying some beautiful sunny weather on this Saturday morning.
Don't jump ahead. Don't jump ahead yet.
It's just the sun. Every day is a Sunday. It feels like 46 degrees right now outside the KVNU studios. It's nice. Came in this morning not even having to wear a coat.
It's the best, yeah. What's our high supposed to be today? Like 55 or something?
Mid-50s.
If it's already 47...
Yeah, we could be pushing close to 60.
Yeah, we could be 60 today. Sounds like a great day to be outside planting stuff.
It's going to be. Yeah. And as we've been mentioning this morning, we've got the Home and Garden Show sponsored by Anderson Seed and Garden coming up next weekend. So for everyone that calls in with a question this morning, we have a pair of tickets for you. Now, these tickets, you can swing by Anderson Seed and Garden anytime today or next week and pick them up. So let's go right back out to the phone lines as they are full for you this morning,
yes.
Mark.
One thing before we do the phone, forgot to mention we're doing a special on primrose. Since we have pansies and primrose in stock right now, we can get those planted no matter what the weather's like. So even if it snows or freezes, they'll handle the cold. They're blooming right now. Primroses in 4-inch containers are usually $4.99. They are on sale today if you mention our secret word, $1.75. And the secret phrase for today is "It's finally spring." So if you come in and you're buying primrose, just let them know at the checkout that it's finally spring, and they'll do the primrose for $1.75 for you instead of $4.99. So
all right,
little special on the primrose. And who doesn't want to be outside planting flowers?
Yeah. Okay, so just remember the phrase, "It's finally spring."
It's finally spring, yep.
Yeah, because it is. It is finally spring, and we're enjoying it. All right, so let's go back out to the phone lines. Phone lines are 753-5868, 1-800-369-5868, and Chris has been holding on the line from Logan. Chris, welcome to the show this morning.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to know if you can put onions, potatoes, and garlic and store them in the same crate.
Onions, potatoes, and garlic, that should not be a problem. The potatoes like it a little bit more humid than the onions. The onions like it really dry, but they should work together fine. The onions and the garlic, absolutely. So that's no problem there. The potatoes do like a little bit different storage condition. They like the same temperature, but the potatoes would prefer to be slightly humid compared to dry on the onion side. So
okay.
All right.
They won't sprout prematurely or anything like that.
No. It's when you start adding fruit into the mix, and the fruit gives off a ethylene gas, and it will cause your vegetables to deteriorate faster. And so, if you keep the fruit away from your vegetables, you'll be in good shape. So,
great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Have a good one, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
Okay, and so let's go out to Smithfield. Robert is holding on the line. Robert, thanks for calling in this morning. Your question for Mark.
Yeah, good morning, Mark. Quick question. I heard about the trimming of the trees, but I've got a question. We had some branches that broke off during the wind.
Yes.
And it's not a straight break, obviously. It's not like somebody sawed off the branch.
Right.
Do I need to saw that so that it's flat and then treat it with something? Because it's a beautiful, well, there was actually 2 maple trees. And I'm just wondering, or do I just leave it ragged?
You're going to want to clean up that break. And so if it's broken off of the main trunk, you can take that cut right back to the main trunk. If it's coming off of a scaffold branch or a lateral branch, you'll just take it back to the branch where it originated from. But leave a 1/4 of an inch collar. So don't cut it flush with the tree or the branch, but leave a 1/4 of an inch. And what that does is there's a lot of cells in the tissue that kind of bunches up right there where the branch comes off its origination point, and those will heal over that wound a lot faster that way if you leave it a 1/4 of an inch. And so if it's a bigger branch, what I'll do is I will cut closer to where I'm gonna like do my final cut. I'll cut from the bottom up, maybe an inch into the branch, so that you can cut that off and it won't break. And then make a nice clean cut at the 1/4 inch. It just depends on how long of a stump you've got to take off, because sometimes they're heavy enough. If you start cutting from the top, it'll tear on the bottom. So make sure you score it underneath first, so that when you cut that off, it won't tear the tissue down the branch or the trunk where it's still attached.
Okay, and then just leave it bare. You don't need to treat it with anything.
No. That's kind of there's 2 different kind of thought on that, two different schools of thought, and one is like that you always want to seal it, and one's like, no, just leave it alone, it'll heal fine. I think they both work well. maples tend to bleed like crazy in the springtime, and so we generally recommend you prune those in the fall so that they don't bleed in the spring, because the sap's starting to flow like crazy right now. So you may want to seal that on your maples, because if you don't, all of a sudden you'll see just like maple syrup just pouring out of your tree.
Okay.
All right. So, it's not it's not the delicious kind either. So,
yeah, no. And then one more quick question: are you guys planning on doing your hanging basket festival thing, where you can go down and make them and sometime later this year?
Absolutely, we are. So in April, we are doing our planting event on the 27th. So we were actually talking about that this week. So it's going to be the 27th of April. Last year we did a sign up for it, so we had you could make a reservation for a time period to come in. It worked great. It worked so well. We didn't have the huge crowds of people bunched all at once. It kind of spread things out through the day. So we'll get that set up and available to have people start registering here in the next couple of weeks. So,
all right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the weather.
You too, Robert. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
Okay, and that'll free up a phone line, 753-5868 or 1-800-369-5868. Let's go out to Dayton now, as Kathy is joining us on the line. Kathy, welcome to the show this morning, and let me put her over there. There we are. Kathy, welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I came in last fall because I have fire blight, I'm pretty sure, on one of my apple trees. You had me paint it with something. Do I need to do that again? I'm just really worried that we're going to lose it.
So you painted the garden foss on there, and I would absolutely do that again this month. And so the garden foss is systemic, and it will be absorbed in through the bark that's on the trunk of the tree, and it will run that through the circulatory system of the tree, and it will protect the tree from the inside out. We need enough days as tall the tree. So if the tree is like 25 feet tall, it needs 25 days to get all the way up to the top of the tree. So you need as many days to get that up there before they start to bloom. So you got to get that on there early enough so it spreads through the tree. The great thing about it is it lasts for about 3 months. And so you can do it early before your trees bloom and get it on there early enough so it has plenty of time to spread all the way through the tree, and it will still be effective for the next couple months after that.
Okay, is there anything else I can do for this? I hate to lose my tree.
Prune out the parts that are infected. So usually you can see where it's split or where there's little cankers on the tree. And actually right now is when the fire blight bacteria starts to become more prevalent. And so where the tree has been infected with it, that infection is inside the circulatory system. So these little cankers will split open. This little bit of sap will come out. That sap will have the bacteria in it, and that's how it spreads to the blossoms and reinfects the tree again the next year. And so
And what do the cankers look like?
They look like just kind of little splits on the bark. And it's usually of the branches or the twigs. You'll just see these little cankers where the tissue's kind of bunched up a little bit, and it'll kind of split open. You get a little bit of sap that comes out, and that's where the bacteria is. And so parts that have been damaged, you want to make sure and prune that out, because that's going to be a source of the disease again for this year.
Okie doke. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome, and good luck with your trees.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. Bye, Kathy.
Boy, we haven't really had a chance to get back to our discussion on bare roots, but maybe
we
will.
That's okay. Yeah. I don't mind.
We'll keep the calls coming in.
Don't mind having the callers, because we've talked a little bit about pruning. We've talked a little about fertilizing, planting early crops. That's great. We haven't talked about protecting tulips, though. That was kind of high on my list, because the deer are starting to lick their lips as my tulips are starting to come up. Yeah, and so we could talk about a little bit of tulip protection from the deer.
Before we do that, if you're just joining us this morning, phone lines are open to take your calls. And again, for all of our callers this morning for the show, we have as a gift a pair of tickets for you to the Home and Garden Show at Anderson Seed and Garden. I'll just take your name when you call in, and then you can stop by Anderson Seed and Garden today to pick up the pair of tickets. Just look for Mark. Yep. He won't be in a leprechaun costume, but
not today. But
and probably don't
tomorrow.
Pinch him either. but just tell him thank you when he gives you a pair of tickets. So let's go right back out to the phone lines. We have Dick joining us on the line from Logan. Dick, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mark.
Yes.
A question. I've got I guess you'd call it a small strawberry patch. It's only about 3 feet wide and about 15, 16 feet long.
Okay.
And I've got a concrete border on one side and a sidewalk on the other. Is there anything you can put down so I don't have to try to get down periodically during the year and pull weeds out between those plants?
Absolutely, absolutely. So there is a pre-emergent that is called Treflan, and the Treflan won't bother your strawberries, but it will stop new seeds as they germinate. And they've recently added strawberries to the label. It's been quite a few years that Treflan's been out there, but they've recently added it to the label, and it will kill new weeds that are coming up, but it won't kill anything that's there already. So it won't bother your strawberries. It won't bother other existing weeds. So you may want to get a little bit of help to get the strawberry patch weeded to begin with, get all the weeds out of there, and then put the Treflan down, and then that will prevent new ones from coming up. And the Treflan comes in a granule and also in a liquid. The liquid will actually last longer, so you could probably do one spray, and it will last 4 to 6 months. So you could last almost the entire summer with just the one application. The granule only lasts about 6 to 8 weeks, so you got to do it a little bit more frequently to get it to last throughout the year. So probably 2 applications, maybe 3 at the most. But the liquid, you could probably get away with just 1. And it'll do a great job on all kinds of weeds and grasses, but it won't hurt your strawberries.
It sounds like that my back will enjoy that.
Yeah. You know what? Those pre-emergents are one of the greatest helpers that anyone can use in their garden, because it will just prevent all those weeds from coming up. It saves so much work and back as well, too. Yeah, saves your back.
Now, is that the same thing you would use on hanging flower plants that seems like they bloom so nice during the year, and then in late July or August there's a little worm or something that sometimes takes all the blooms away?
Absolutely. That is the tobacco budworm. And tobacco budworms, we'd have to use a different product to control those, since the Treflan will work on weeds. It won't work on insects. And so we've got some other options for the tobacco budworm. Spinosad works great. We used the new version of 7 last year. Bug Blaster works great. There's a lot of options when that time rolls around, Dick.
All right. Hey, I appreciate the knowledge and your time. Thank you.
Anytime. You have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for calling.
Now, Treflan versus Cazaron. That probably is a good question, because Cazaron, for example, is really good with the bare root plants, like raspberries.
With the raspberries, so it's not necessarily bare root. It's it's woody plants.
The cane plants.
It's the cane plants. So you've got Cazaron you can use on cane plants and woody plants. So we're talking like shrubs that have bark on them, trees that have bark on them, canes like raspberries, roses, blackberries. It won't bother those, but it basically will kill everything else. I have firsthand experience on this, that it kills everything else, because last winter we accidentally hit a bag of Cazaron that was in our carport, but the snow had gotten so deep it had covered it up a little bit, and so we hit it with the snowblower, and it threw the Cazaron into one of our flower beds and onto our lawn as well too, and nothing came up there this last year. It killed all the grass, like it killed all the lawn, killed all the flowers in there that weren't wood, like they didn't bother the shrubs, but it killed all the flowers in there, and nothing came up all year. So it killed the lawn, killed all the weeds, killed all the plants, but it worked amazingly well. So you want to make sure you put that down early on your raspberries, like right now. Yeah, right now for Cazaron. But it will kill the grasses and the weeds that are in your raspberries without bothering your raspberries. and prevent new stuff from coming up for the rest of the year.
Okay.
So it is like one of the greatest products ever. But you want to get it on before your new shoots or raspberries or blackberries come up. It's great in like landscaped areas where you've got lots of trees and shrubs, but don't put it in where you have perennials or bulbs because it can damage those too.
So the difference between Treflon and Cazeron.
And Treflan won't kill anything that's there already, but it just prevents the new stuff from coming up. And the Treflan you can use around a lot of edibles. So you can use it around the strawberries. You can use it around a lot of vegetables as well too, and flowers, and it won't bother those, but it will kill the seeds of the new weeds that are coming up. So, great stuff.
Well, Kim has been holding on the line as our last caller from out in Logan. Kim, thank you so much for holding. Go ahead with your question on the Garden Guide.
I have a question about grapes. I never know when it's a good time to prune those back in the spring. And do you happen to have a video or something on how to prune those?
Great question. Grapes always look like they're dead first thing in the spring. I look out there and it's like, God, they look like they're dead. I usually will wait until there's a little bit of growth that's starting to come on them before I start pruning. Then I know which parts are dead and which ones are still alive, because it's kind of hard to tell until you start cutting. And when you start cutting, then you can see where it's green underneath the tissue. Our fruit growing guide, which we have at the store if you want to purchase it, the same information is on our website at andersonseedandgarden.com. You can just look up grapes on there, just search grapes, and we'll bring up the grape growing guide. We have some pruning instructions, some growing instructions. There's some diagrams in there as well too that shows you where to prune and how to train them to get them to produce the most for you. And so there's some great information on our website. But if you want the old-fashioned hard copy, we
print it out.
We have that at the store as well too. But you are welcome to go onto the website. There's information there about growing all the fruits. So if you want to learn how to do raspberries, or you want to learn how to do blackberries or blueberries or strawberries, that information is there on our website, where you can just download the PDF and it's right there for you. Same thing with all of the vegetables. Tells you how to grow every single vegetable in there. We have tons of really great information and lots of videos. We have I think 300 videos on the website that you can search through for how to do different things. Tons and tons of.
So that's AndersonSeed.com.
AndersonSeedandGarden.com.
Oh, and garden.
Yep. Just Google Anderson Seed Logan. Boom. It'll bring us right up. And then your web browser will remember us forever. So
wonderful.
All right, but lots of great information on there, Kim. And grapes shipped from New York this week, so I'll have brand new grapes in next week as well too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for calling this morning.
You bet.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, that leaves us with just 2 minutes.
Yes.
Mark, we've kept you busy today, and thank you to all of our callers. A quick reminder to all of our callers, if you called in on the show, stop by Anderson Seed and Garden today, look for Mark, or go up front to the seed counter, and you can grab a pair of tickets.
And we'll have the tickets
for the
there.
Home and Garden Show. So before we go, though, you wanted to talk about tulips.
Yes. So my tulips are starting to pop up, and there's a couple different ways to keep the deer from eating them. And at my house, the deer are there every day. So free buffet at Anderson's every day for the deer if you wanted to participate in that. But they're starting to lick their lips with my tulips starting to come up. So I've got some repellents that work great. So we've got Deer Stopper. That's awesome. You can treat the tulips with that. Makes them unpalatable for the deer. Makes them taste awful for the deer, but doesn't repel people, which is what I like about the Deer Stopper. Nice. Some of the repellents are so stinky that
people don't want to go out there.
Yeah, it drives people away as well as the deer. The Deer Stopper is not like that. The other way is a little bit of chicken wire, field fence. They don't like galvanized steel, so they'll stay away from that. Or just a little bit of netting. I think I'm going to try some netting on my tulips this year and see how that works, because the tulips will grow up underneath the net, but it'll protect the flowers and the leaves as they come up. So we're gonna try a couple different things and see what works the best. Don't forget, we've got a special on primroses today. So primroses regularly $4.99. They are on sale for $1.75 if you mention the secret phrase. And the secret phrase is, it's finally spring.
Yes. Easy to remember.
Yeah. So when you're checking out, make sure and let whoever's helping you know it's finally spring, and then they will charge you $1.75 for your primrose instead of $4.99 for a 4-inch. They're in bloom. Pansies are in bloom. Lots of bare root plants. Onions are here. It's time to go. It's go time.
Yeah. And join us next week as we'll be live from the Home and Garden Show, sponsored by Anderson Seed and Garden, regular time, and we'll be taking your calls from out there and also talking about all of the excitement going on next weekend at the Home and Garden Show. Mark?
Exactly.
Thanks so much for coming in this morning.
Thank
you to all of our callers. It's been a great show. And if you missed any of today's show, you can go back to kvnutalk.com and click on the podcast library.
On Wall Street.
That's the reason why we're going to continue, because I believe there is a cause here.
News Talk KVNU.